So today, for the second time in this series, The Art of Listening, I'm going to be talking to Enza Lyons. She's an amazing lady whom has spent many decades refining her actual craft of being able to help people with their chronic pain, with their discomfort, and to live the lives that they're really born to live. And she brings her special methodologies to the table today to talk to us again. Enza, welcome.
Thank you, Linda, for having me again. And thank you for everyone to being there in the audience. I'm looking forward to sharing with you all. So, yes.
Thank you so much, Enza. I was just going to add, it's not easy work when you work with people, any types of people, big people or little people. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the studies that you've brought together to do your methodology and who you work with in this space in and around pain at the moment?
Okay, so today I'm going to show you how I help people break free from anxiety and chronic pain. So you're going to discover a program that I've put together, the drug-free, pain-free pain relief system. So I mainly work with women that are struggling with anxiety and chronic pain caused by injuries, trauma, accidents, and also menstrual pain. And it affects their sleeping, their moods, their emotions. And so I'm going to help you to realize that it doesn't have to be that way. You know, so many women go in and get medication. They try all these different treatments and physical therapy with temporary relief, and the pain is still there and it keeps popping up. And you don't have to live that way. Your body can heal if we know how to tap into it. And I've learned how to do that. So imagine waking up in the morning, feeling calm and your body free of pain, no more joint stiffness, and you're more energized and that you're able to do the things in life. And this is what I do in helping people in getting rid of pain. Now, pain can be caused by many different things, you know, aging, hormonal challenges, and emotional stress can take a big toll on our body. We can get chronic pain and fatigue, so we get joint stiffness and inflammation, and we can get suffer grief and loss of a loved one. We can experience trauma from injuries, and then we can experience menstrual pain, menopausal discomforts, all these different things that affect us. So, so I show a way. Now, the reason that I was really interested in this is because I was in a situation over 40 years ago, and I was really battling with chronic lower back pain. And especially when you're a young mum, a lot of mums have that challenge, you know, giving childbirth. And it was not just a physical discomfort, it was restricting my movement and my energy and my emotions, affecting my menstrual cycle. And so I turned, like many people, I turned to massage and to the chiropractor, and I got temporary relief, but still it would still come back. And I knew there had to be a better way. And I had a friend recommend me to go to see this lady in the local gym, and she did massage, but she also did other unique techniques. And I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. So I remember that day when I went in there, and when I came out, I just felt so fantastic. I couldn't believe how free my body was. I had more energy, more clarity in my mind. I just couldn't believe the difference. And I thought, I got to know more about this. I've got to find out
Love
how
it.
it works.
I love an inquisitive mind. I love an inquisitive mind and even more an inquisitive body. So your body was telling you in a way. Yeah, so tell me more. Yeah, I want to see more. I love it.
Yeah, so I started to do training, and And then over the years, I opened up my clinic with the Dynamic Learning and Health Centre with the training that I had. And for decades, I did a lot of hands-on experience with my clients that had anxiety and chronic pain and learning challenges that were all connected to it. And I've worked with countless amount of clients that have tried different traditional treatments with very little success. And my clients' transformation, they really inspire me. And this is what really keeps me going, because I know that you can make a difference in people's lives.
Love it.
Let me share just a few.
Thank you, and that's great. Will say this too, is that you brought together amazing techniques and things that you've actually studied, but also you've got loads of testimonials and things that have actually come towards you because you've worked with all these people. The other thing is that there is no downside ever to do any sustainable, beautiful work with your body and your mindset and your learning abilities. Never any downside. There's often downside to traditional ways to, poke the bear with way too many drugs. There's always a side effect. I find with any of the modalities that Enz is going to talk about, and many of the people that we get to talk about in the art of listening, and I'm okay with both sides. It's okay with me. However, many people haven't explored or even known about the techniques that you're going to probably talk a little bit about, but also all of the ways that you bring it together in your methodology techniques that you help people with and forward on their journeys. So sorry for the interjection there, but I think that sort of helps the listener a little bit as well.
Hey, thank you, Linda. Well, let me share a few of my client stories. So I had a 70-year-old man. He had lived with chronic pain for years on his shoulder because he had a car accident. And every night he just had to take medication so that he could have a good night's sleep. And even then it was very difficult. And then he came to see me, and after a few sessions, he was able to go out and play golf again. So he could swing his arm and shoulders and there was no more pain. Then I worked with a university student, and she was overwhelmed with stress and anxiety. She was struggling with debilitating menstrual pain. And this comes with stress. And this disrupted her studies and her whole life. And after a few sessions of seeing me, she was free of pain and never looked back. I had another woman who suffered for several years after having a huge fall down a very long escalator. And she suffered pain for years, and she did lots of physiotherapy, but it was always temporary relief. It still was there for years later. She had a few sessions with me, and we gave her lasting relief, and she was able to live her normal life. She didn't get fearful of falling down escalators anymore. So it was just amazing. Then I had another mother who brought her young daughter, and she'd been diagnosed by an OT, an occupational therapist, had been stuck in the fear paralysis reflex. And the mother was so desperate to find a solution because her daughter wouldn't go to the park. So she would scream when she had her hair washed. She used to bite her nails because of the stress. And she wanted to get her to go into kindergarten, but she was only 3 years old. And she looked over the internet, and she came across my name, and she decided to come and see me. And after a few sessions, this beautiful girl blossomed. She was able to run to the park. She became adventurous. She was able to go to kindergarten. She no longer screamed having her hair washed. She didn't bite her nails anymore. It was just so beautiful. And my clients just inspire me by the transformation that they make.
Thank you for saying all of that. It's incredible. I'm also obsessed in my life about transformation, and it sometimes doesn't come easy, but also when we get to work with our older and our younger people, often the surrender, I find, is the biggest transformation. Can you speak into that a little bit?
I'll share how my method works, my
Yeah.
drug-free pain relief system. It's very simple. Our body has a wonderful way, and it's just being able to communicate with it. And basically, I work with the cellular memory and the neuroplasticity of the brain, because pain gets recorded in the brain and in the cells of the body, so you can't separate them. And so my approach is I use a movement-based therapy techniques that retrains the brain, and then it weakens the pain pathways. And so we create new pathways, working with and repatterning the brain so that we can work with the neuroplasticity of the brain. We also look at the cellular memory, the emotions that get locked into their muscles of the body, but also in the brain. So we use targeted techniques that helps the body reset and eliminate the pain right at the cause of it, at the source of it. So I also use techniques which helps with whole brain learning, because pain affects our learning ability if we're suffering anxiety, So it improves coordination, and we rebalance the nervous system. So it gives lasting relief. So I work through three simple different steps. First, step one, we identify the root cause. Second, we use the techniques that's needed for the body to release, and then the people experience the wonderful results. So it really changes their life. It improves their freedom of movement. They feel emotionally light. The pain's gone, and they have clear thinking and focus, and they have better sleep, and they improve in their relationship. You can play and dance and be with your children or your grandchildren, travel, and your life is free to do what you want to do,
It's
and you're not being
life-changing. Yeah, it's life-changing.
changing.
100% life-changing. And also, I suppose going back to the art of listening, is that you're in the room with them, listening to the fact that their pain is not in their imagination, it is true and real. There is all different ways to explain what that pain is, science-based and otherwise. And then you've got a methodology to be able to take them to where they need to go. And sometimes, and I'm really getting deep diving here into the mind of a really, really good change maker, coach, practitioner, whatever you want to call yourself. It doesn't matter, really, as long as you get the results. And we know this, that you can, Enza, is that showing them it's possible with your belief before they believe has been my biggest thing, and biggest way to actually help people forward. So there's a strength in you that they're leaning into. How do you describe that a little bit? Because I describe it as a big responsibility, and it bears very heavily on me personally. But how do you do that with them?
Well, it's all about love and caring for other people, really. And your intention is to help them so that they can pass through where they're stuck, because pain comes from some sort of trauma and it gets stuck in our body. And using the techniques that I've learned over the years, it just releases it.
Beautiful, beautifully
I
said.
really trust it, because the body has a wonderful way of healing.
Yes, it's very ultimately more clever than perhaps any of us could ever be. I love that you've actually said that. I'm going to scratch on a little thing here where that comes up a lot over the years for the tens of thousands of people I get to work with, and that's this word of trauma. Someone's trauma is not your trauma. So when I often think about trauma, I think it's something where someone's, I don't know, died in my arms, or like a big, 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 big thing. Sometimes that's not the case. If someone feels quite invested in something and then there's a loss of some kind, Can you speak a little bit into that? Because you,
Well, just being anxious.
yeah,
I mean, anxiety
nervous. Yeah,
can, if it's not dealt with, it can lead to panic attacks, and it does cause stress on the body. So there are things that we can do to release that. And it always goes back to a lot of the reflexes, and I find the Moro reflex is the one that really affects people, and it puts them into this over anxiety state. And some of the work that I do helps release that and integrate that reflex so that they no longer have it controlling their life anymore, that they are in charge of their emotions, that they are in charge of their life.
yeah. Thank you for saying that. Because to live a full life, we're not going to be able to be protected from things that occur often. So things will happen. So this is something that you can and should be able to revisit over time as well, and that's okay. So, Enza, you're clearly a soft place to land with all of this. I'm actually going to just say there's one link that people can get in touch with you, and it will be in the show notes anyway. What is that way?
Well, they can find my name on the internet, Enza Lyons, but they can give me a phone call if they like on 0413 697 692, and we can discuss, the initial consultation, do assessment of what's happening, and just see if, whether I can help them out. And, so yeah, they can contact me on Facebook, wherever.
Yeah.
My name is the Lions. It's easy to find.
It's actually, yeah, not as common as my name. So you're lucky in that department. So on LinkedIn and Facebook, Enza is about, but also I will pop in the show notes how to get in touch with her. And she also runs beautiful masterclasses and teaches teachers, which is a really cool thing too. Because as a teacher of teachers for many, many years now, that is also a beautiful way to impart information that is effective, sustainable, and natural. And I think we need definitely more ears and eyes on it, for sure. Thank you, Enza, for being part of the art of listening.
Yeah, thanks, Linda, and thank you for everyone that's listening in.